This is by a guy named Jimmy High Roller, and it is titled "When You Break the Rules and Get Away with It." We go to my desktop, and we're gonna watch it, and I'm gonna kind of react to it, and yeah. So basically, I stopped watching the NBA. I was a huge fan. I stopped watching it maybe seriously like 3 years ago. And one of the biggest reasons is going to be explained in the video, so I'll make comments as we go, but let's go ahead and watch it. This is When You Break the Rules and Get Away with It by a basketball YouTuber named Jimmy High Roller. I've watched this twice now. It's so good. Let's go ahead and watch it. Here we go.
No way he's going on running this bitch.
Well, that sucks. Game is all tied up with seconds left on the clock, and this kid pulls off every hooper's dream of knocking down a game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer, just to have it called off by the ref. And most basketball fans who saw this video agreed that this move was in fact a travel. As tragic as this call was, it was the correct one. But if this is a travel, then so is this, and this, and this, and this, and all of these. NBA players don't have to follow the rules. I mean, they used to, but they don't anymore. Because according to them, they don't have to. Today's video is sponsored.
All right, we're going to skip the ad, but let me just say that if that's not an intriguing intro, if you're a basketball fan, like an NBA watcher, past or present, I don't know what is. Luca! Get this DraftKings off my screen, man. I'm done. I'm sports gambling. All right, if you sports gamble, whatever, it's your choice. But anyway, he's basically saying they break the rules, they know it, they get away with it. He's going to expand on it. Here we go. I'm going to stop talking.
In 2019, on the Raptors' road to a championship, Kawhi Leonard hit one of the greatest shots in NBA history.
It's true.
It's off to Leonard.
The shot is insane.
By Simmons. Is this the dagger?
A 20-foot fadeaway buzzer beater over Joel Embiid to win Game 7 in the second round of the playoffs.
That's crazy.
This shot has been cemented as a career-defining moment for Kawhi and the catalyst to one of the most legendary title runs in recent NBA history. But it never should have happened.
True.
See, run the tape back.
All right. Wait. Before he shows this, did you notice it? Did you see it on the first play?
Right about here. 1, 2, 3 steps.
Hasn't even put the ball down
without
yet.
ever dribbling the ball.
Hasn't even put the
Kawhi
ball
Leonard
down
traveled on
yet.
this play. This should have been a turnover with 4 seconds left on the clock. How did the refs miss this call? This is Jason Phillips, 21-year
Try
vet
doing that
as
in
an
high
NBA
school.
official.
Try
He's
doing
reffed
it in
over
high school.
1,100 games. He's looking right at it. He must have just not seen Kawhi take an extra step, right? Or maybe he just didn't want to be the guy to call a travel on a mega superstar in a Game 7 of the playoffs. Either way, the call was missed and the Raptors now have a
Great
championship
footwork.
banner
Yeah,
hanging
get
in
out
their
of here.
rafters. But this isn't the first, nor the last time a player has
Don't
gotten
leave.
away with breaking the rules in a crucial moment. This Stephen Curry dagger in the 2019 playoffs against the Rockets was a carry. You can see it right here. He dribbles, does a hop step while carrying the ball, then crosses over. This should have been a turnover. Or what about Devin Booker's game-winning shot in the 2020 playoffs against the Clippers? One of the highlights of his career. Well, that shot came off of a travel. Just look for yourself. 1, 2, 3 steps. Picks up his pivot foot. 4. Go back and look at some of the best displays of footwork and handles over the last half-decade, and you'd be blown away by just how many moves NBA players use on a consistent basis that involve traveling
Kyrie's
and carrying.
pretty bad too.
It's shocking. At least from a fan's perspective it is.
That's
But
so-
to the players,
that's a travel.
this is
That
all
is a
part of
carry.
the game.
It's a carry,
a few
not a
months
travel.
ago,
It's a
a fan
carry.
shared a clip of Ja Morant
This
conjuring
is
up
the
one of
worst
the
one.
most egregious travel and carry jobs you'll ever see. And this fan did not hold back, saying Ja Morant carries the ball on pretty much every possession and it never gets called. Right below this post, Donovan Mitchell chimed in with 4 simple words. We all
Literally
do it.
why I don't
and
watch
Mitchell is
anymore.
right. Nearly every single
can't do
perimeter
it.
player
They
in
don't
the
call it
NBA
ever.
travels or carries a lot. Not in some inconsequential way, not every once in a while.
All right, hold on. I'm going to rewind it just a little bit because what he's saying here is really smart, and I keep talking over him. I'm going to try to get better. But my thing is this. It literally happens every game. It doesn't get called, and not only does it not get called, people get praised for it. So it's completely backwards.
Player in the NBA travels or carries a lot. Not in some
He's saying every single player in the NBA travels or carries a lot, which is 100% true.
And Mitchell is right. Nearly every single perimeter player in the NBA travels or carries a lot. Not in some inconsequential way, not every once in a while.
All the
it
time.
happens all the time.
Every game.
Every game. Especially in ISO possessions where you'll see players bend and break the rules virtually every single time. Now, these travels and carries are not to be confused with the zero step or gather step that has ran rampant over the last half decade. Popularized by James Harden, if a player times their gather step well enough, they can get away with an extra step on their way to a shot.
Yeah,
like
Pat Beverly can headbutt somebody in the face and not go to jail.
This play right here, where Terry Rozier gathers the ball at the exact moment that he takes his gather step, which allows him to take 2 more steps without getting called for a travel. This also applies to most step-back jumpers. Gather, 0 step, 1, 2.
Which also is technically a travel, except the NBA changed the rules because of James Harden. So it's no longer a travel. But if you try it in high school, you're going to get called for it because it's an NBA only gather step or 0 step.
We aren't talking about these moves. We're talking about moves like this. Ja Morant dribbles, takes 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, carries the ball, and then takes a 4th step before dribbling again and finishing at the rim. And you may think,
You're giving your money to this. Just saying. We're going to watch that real quick again.
dribbles, takes 1 step. These moves. We're talking about moves like this. Ja Morant dribbles, takes 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, carries the ball, and then takes a 4th step before dribbling again and finishing at the rim. And you may think, this move right here, this is an outlier. But it's not. Moves like this happen virtually every other possession in the NBA. Take this play by Jordan Poole. He's coming off a dribble. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps, before he dribbles again. But wait, he's not done. He burns Jordan Clarkson on the in and out. Dribbles, takes 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps. That's 2 violations in the same combo to create space from his defender. This is an epidemic. But if everyone does it, then why should it matter? The game has changed. Clearly the refs don't care, so why should...
I play 2K because it's the only game you can play to play basketball nowadays. If there was another basketball game that wasn't NBA and it was a good game, I would play it 100%. I don't care about the names and likenesses. Let me make my own player. I don't care about NBA this, NBA that.
Should we?
I like basketball.
Well, take this play by Kemba Walker.
Oh, Walker, a little shake and bake, throws it up.
See how the commentator's like, a little shake and bake, haha, he's so good. He gets paid to say that. He gets paid to hype up that crap.
Walker's got Sadiq Bey on an island, so he hits him with a quick pullback to create space. This is fine. Walker's got separation
it's a good
and an
play
open
so
shot.
far. It's this little back where he looks like he's going to shoot.
3,
look at this.
4 steps while carrying the ball, forcing Sadiq to close out, and then he blows by him. As a defender, if you see the offense take 2, even 3 steps backwards, you know they have to commit to a shot or a pass. They have nowhere left to go. They've used all of their steps. But when the offense can just suspend the ball indefinitely and just take another step to blow right past you, how exactly are you supposed to defend this?
It's not okay.
It's the same general concept
Imagine
being used
if
on most of these
Jordan,
moves.
I mean, okay, Jordan did other things. He'll get into it.
Dribble, a hesitation.
I'm just saying, the game's different now.
These moves are breaking some sort of rule. And when the defense sees a player hold the ball like this, they know they can close out strong because they know the offense either has to shoot the ball or pass the ball. Or at least they used to. Before moves like this.
All right, that was good. Sorry, I was talking again. My bad.
Most of the time, these moves are breaking some sort of rule. And when the defense sees a player hold the ball like this, they know they can close out strong because they know the offense either has to shoot the ball or pass the ball. Or at least they used to, before moves like this became perfectly legal in the NBA. And there lies the problem with players being allowed to use these moves in games. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, the league made an
literally
example.
street ball. This move by Kyrie is street ball. I know I'm yelling. I'm letting it out, okay? Look, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Became perfectly
But
legal
look at
in the NBA.
This is street ball,
and there
bro.
lies the problem with players being allowed to use.
He drags his foot, bro.
Before moves like this became perfectly
Look at
legal
him drag
in the
his
NBA.
left foot.
And there lies the problem
Right here.
with players being allowed to use
It's his right foot. He just like
the NBA. And there lies the problem.
Here, can I slow this down? Playback speed 0.25. Watch him just drag his right foot.
With players being
just sliding along the floor.
use these.
Bro, you would get called for a travel in half a second if you did that in high school.
Perfectly legal in the NBA. And there lies the problem with players being allowed to use these moves in games. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s,
Iverson
the league
started
made an
it.
example out of Allen Iverson
Think of all
by
the hours he
having
practiced. I don't
officials
care.
go out of
I
their
don't
way
care.
to call carrying violations on him. Moves that
Practice
by
the
today's
right
standards
way.
would be considered fairly simple and
Get paid
textbook
millions.
were
Play the game the
constantly
right
being
way.
called as travels and carries. Just look at this call right here.
And now they call.
He's saying back in the day they were actually calling these carries and stuff. Like they used to target Iverson because he used to carry all the time. This is just the way he played the
He
game.
does that every time down the floor.
He does that every time he puts it on the floor.
Yeah.
See, listen to the commentators. Listen to the
He should have
commentators.
got a foul. I mean, he does that every time down the floor.
He does that every time he puts it on the floor.
Yeah.
You see it? It's so insignificant that it's hard to even notice. But this move right here was called a carry back in 2001. Here's another clip from the late 90s.
Yeah,
and
Steve
just
Javie was
listen
a
to
good
how
ref.
the commentators talk about Allen Iverson's game.
Look at that. Down the lane, put it off. Hendrickson with the rebound, puts that one in. Let's see if you can see this, John. Let's watch Allen Iverson with the ball handling and see if you think this is close to a carry. I mean, that, look at that. You can't make that move and not carry the ball. Right?
Again, by today's standards, what Iverson
said you
is
can't
doing
make that
here
move and
isn't
not
even
carry the
worth
ball.
noting. In fact, in
was in the
2022,
early
this
2000s.
is fundamental basketball. But
Or
25
late
years
90s.
ago, this type of ball handling was considered borderline street ball. These guys would have had a stroke if they saw what players today got away with. When you can bend the rules and even outright break the rules to manipulate the defense and score a bucket, the game completely changes. 20 years ago, there were only 8 players in the entire league that averaged over 23 points per game. Every single one of them were all-time great players, and only 5 of them were perimeter players. Fast forward to 2021,
I mean,
and
look at
a
that list.
whopping 22 players averaged at least 23 points per game league-wide, and 16 of them were perimeter players. Part of this is due to players simply being more skilled than their predecessors.
That's
But
not
just
it.
as big of a factor is the fact that perimeter players get a lot more leeway with the rules these days than they used to.
Yep.
It's not like Tracy McGrady or Gilbert Arenas or Paul Pierce didn't have the handle to pull off these moves. It's that they simply weren't allowed to do these moves. Listen to how commentators believe
was
this
borderline.
was a travel back in the late 80s.
Darwin Cook on Jordan, no chance. Oh, my.
Oh, they're jumping in the stand. Now
There.
what?
See his left foot, I thought, moved.
Oh, no.
No,
I don't really see it there, if I'm being honest.
Imagine what some past all-time greats could have done if they were allowed to get away with what players today get away with. Here's a clip of Kobe putting on a footwork clinic without bending the rules. The fact that Kobe was so effective and so creative within the confines of strict rules makes it all the more impressive. The same could be said about Tim Hardaway, who
Dude, Tim
patented
Hardaway
his
was
killer
nasty.
crossover in the 90s. Dude had defenders
Look at this.
absolutely lost
Right here.
from a simple but effective crossover.
Later, bro.
Imagine what players like Hardaway,
Oh, he was
Marbury,
nasty.
Steve Francis, and Chauncey Billups could have done if they were able to take an extra step or two and hold the ball for a split second longer to break down the defense. A lot of these former players are
Dude,
justified
can
in
I
saying
just
that
say-
the rules have been
Can I just say, a kid got shook? Can I just say that it is like refreshing to see these old school players play? Because just they're playing the game the right way. It's not the new rules. Like I can't even say, like I'm getting nostalgia trip from it just watching all these old clips, dude.
absolutely lost from a simple but effective crossover. Imagine what players like Hardaway, Marbury,
defense
Steve
is, like,
Francis,
staying in
and
front of
Chauncey
them,
Billups
doesn't have
could
their
done
hands
if
all
they
over
were able
them.
to take an extra step or
The
two
game was
and
just
hold the
different
ball
back
for a
then, man.
split second longer to break down the defense. A lot of these former players are justified in saying that the rules have been
Marbury
loosened
crossing
so
Yao Ming, that's
drastically
sick.
over the last decade that they would have been even more dominant in today's game. So,
Oh, Nash,
if the
dude, I
players
love
know they
Nash.
break the rules, why don't the officials seem to care? And why does the NBA allow this to go on?
Money.
Well, for one simple reason.
You don't want to see
It's
it get
exciting.
shook again.
Is there anything better than a crossover that sends a player flying 10 feet in the wrong direction? What's more exciting than a well-executed hezzy that makes a defender look absolutely foolish?
It is exciting. You know why? Because it's turned into a damn circus. That's why.
Looser rules means more action. More action
Don't at
means
me.
more points. More points means more superstars. More superstars, the more marketable the product is. Last season, the NBA clamped down
literally
on
the
some
circus.
rules that, for once, would favor the defense and punish bad
Yeah,
offense.
remember that? They were gonna
One
change
of those
the
rules
rules.
was to crack
They
down
did.
on intentionally baiting foul calls while shooting.
They did this.
And instantaneously, players across the
But
league
look what
saw a
happened.
massive dip in their offensive production. Some fans enjoyed this change, but a lot of
I
players
did.
didn't.
I was one of those
so
fans.
the NBA loosened the rule again, and scoring shot right
Back up. They loosen the rule.
Looser rules makes good
I don't-
players
so I gotta turn dog
look like
cam off,
great
sorry.
players. It makes slightly marketable talent into extremely marketable talent. See, you
Sorry,
or
I don't know
I
what's
could
going
never
on.
pull off this move without being called for every violation in the rulebook. But we're not in the NBA. And don't get me wrong, not every highlight move you see in the NBA is a violation of some rule. Look at this madness from Jordan Poole right here. There's a lot going on, and not once does he travel or carry.
No, that
Here's
was
some
good.
more witchcraft by Kyrie Irving, where he shreds an
Pika!
entire defense
Why is
and
it on
does it
again?
completely clean.
There we
It
go.
can be done. But when it isn't, most fans in the league as a whole are more than willing to turn a blind eye to it. Because what Allen Iverson
He just
proved
said it. He just said it. He just said it. All right, this is the end of the video. The ending part is amazing. Like, literally gave me chills the first time I watched it. So I'm going to not talk. I'm going to not interrupt the last scene that's coming up here in a second. But I want to go over what he just said. Listen.
When it isn't, most fans in the league as a whole are more than willing to turn a blind eye to it.
I didn't freeze. That's just me. That's just me making a point. Most fans turn a blind eye. They know it's wrong. They know it's not getting called right, and yet they are willing. They make a willing choice to turn a blind eye to this
an
crap.
entire
I
defense
will not. I
and
refuse,
does it
sir.
completely clean. It can be done.
I can't
but
do it.
When it isn't, most fans in the league as a whole are more than willing to
All right.
turn a blind eye to it.
Here's the
Because
outro.
what
I'm being-
Allen
I'm going-
Iverson
I'm
proved
going mute.
25 years ago still remains true to this day.
And a foul will go on Judd Bushler. Lou Canellis is sitting by. What do you got, Lou?
I wanted to add something on Iverson's move. They have called it a number of times here in the league, and that's why the guy's averaging almost 5 turnovers a game, Tom. But
Right.
also take into account this. That is his signature move, and if he is going to be truly one of the up-and-coming stars that's going to represent the league, they're going to let him get away with it more times than not. You're exactly right. I think that dribble there is a carry every single time he goes to the basket. But, like I said, it's his signature move, and they're going to let him get away with it.
Chills. I have chills. That's so good, bro. That ending is so good.
Eye to it. Because what Allen Iverson proved 25
We're
years
watching it
ago
again.
still remains true to this day.
And a foul will go
Listen
on
to
Judd
the words.
Bushler. Lou Canellis is sitting by. What do you got, Lou?
I wanted to add something on Iverson's move. They have called it a number of times here in the league, and that's why the guy's averaging almost 5 turnovers a game, Tom. But
Right.
also take into account this. That is his signature move, and if he is going to be truly one of the up-and-coming stars that's going to represent the league, they're going to let him get away with it more times than not. You're exactly right. I think that dribble there is a carry every single time he goes to the basket. But, like I said, it's his signature move, and they're going to let him get away with it.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't let you say that. That's funny. Did you hear what they said? This was back in the 90s, bro. And the commentator is basically saying they're going to let him get away with it because that's his signature move. And the plan, the agenda might be a little bit of a dirty word, but like the plan, the goal of the NBA is to let Allen Iverson be a superstar. And they can't do that when he's getting 10 turnovers a game because he's carrying the ball every single possession. So they're going to let it slide so that he can be a superstar, so that it's more exciting, so they make more money. Like, bro, it's not rocket science, dude. And I'm just not down. I'm not down, bro. Anyway, all right. So that's that video. And I have really strong thoughts about it, but not everyone may, and that's fine. But that's kind of how I look at it.